What's going on, guys? So, welcome to the very first video podcast of Just Drive. I'm your host, Naveed. We got Ryan. We got Cameron.
What's up?
We have our guestie here, Summer. Summer, thanks for joining us. Anyway, so basically, we are live. We're actually on Instagram Live right now, but, you know, since we're going to be going on YouTube as well, it's going to be a lot of fun.
This is. Naveed, what's going on tomorrow?
Tomorrow is actually going to be the first Texas Elite Drivers cruise here in Dallas, Texas. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Pretty excited.
You guys are joining tomorrow, right?
We are. This kid's he's going to have a different car than the time that we go on the cruise. Like, than right now.
Ooh, yeah. What'd you get for your car?
I sold it and bought a new car.
Oh, shut up. No, you didn't.
It was too slow. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
Yeah, so we got some charge pipes and JB4 I'm going to throw on. I'm going to see how I like it. And if I don't like it, I'm still going to keep it.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about going to E85. So
That's right.
I'm going to use that to control that for me.
That should be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Dang.
I'm actually kind of excited.
And what kind of car do you have, Cameron?
I have an F82 M4.
F82 M4.
Yeah.
When'd you buy it?
Back in August. Yeah, back in August.
Okay, cool. Are you happy with it?
Yeah. You know, when I don't wreck it.
Yeah, so you don't wreck it. You've had your fair share a couple of times, huh?
Well,
Unfortunately.
I blame the saw blades, really.
The saw blades, yeah. Yeah, so what, the very first time was your windshield?
Yeah,
This is-
some dick in a fucking M5, excuse my French, decided he wanted to just sling some rocks in my general direction. We're flying, cruising at a comfortable highway speed. What are you doing?
I'm reading the comments.
You can read the comments.
Somebody just texted me, read the comments. Hi, guys. Hey, Eric.
I don't get paid enough to deal with him. Anyways,
Oh,
that aside,
What's up, Raz? Okay, anyway.
Ryan, go sit down.
Nobody's
Go sit
reading
down.
the comments.
Go sit down.
They like being interactive, you know? All right,
Anyways, so
Okay, yeah.
back
so
to reality.
Somebody threw a rock at me and kind of shattered the windshield.
Well,
so rude.
did you shatter the windshield though?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh well, it cracked it all the way across
Okay.
eventually, and then after that,
But you're still blaming it on me, aren't you?
I'm still blaming it on you. You're
Okay.
the only car that was in front of me for like maybe a mile at that point in time.
What's a mile equivalent to in terms of yardage? Like maybe
A few, at least 12.
200 yards?
At least 12.
1,200 yards?
No, just 12.
Probably.
Just 12.
You know what? Here, I'm gonna look it up.
All right, there you go. Let's look it up. This is going to be interesting.
Why is there BMW in front of this word? What?
I have no idea.
BMW.
How many yards will a BMW break
Okay,
down in?
1,760 yards in a mile.
760. So I was 760 yards away from you, and I still managed to
I
hit you
said
with a rock?
within a mile. You were the only car in front of me within a mile.
Okay, so 759 yards,
give or take.
give or take.
Something like that, yeah. That, until another car. You were within probably about 500 yards of me.
Okay, gotcha.
So I could safely assume.
By the way, are your phones on autopilot?
My
Autopilot. No.
We're good.
I don't have autopilot on my phone.
Airplane mode.
Does your phone fly away sometimes?
Airplane mode. Airplane mode.
Yeah, and so then after that, you know, we took her down and tested her out in the track and stuff, and
Okay.
some other guy in an M5 just really hates me for some reason, and just threw this saw blade, an actual saw blade, into my front bumper.
Yeah, but you don't even know if that was me or not. You're just assuming if it was
It
me.
was
because I
you, the
in front of
Camaro, or a Mustang. I mean,
One of the two?
it's never the Mustang's fault, and the Camaro is the most beautiful car. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Nice.
I appreciate it.
Is that right?
It's the most beautiful car I've ever seen. It has an
Okay.
LS in it. I mean, yeah, it sounds okay.
Like a Honda
It actually was a
Civic
V6
for rich
but
guys.
whatever.
Oh,
Okay.
whatever.
Like a Honda for a rich guy.
But you got that fixed, right? After you took the saw blade out?
Yeah, I took
Okay.
the saw blade out, and then I realized that the saw blade being in there for about a week caused a lot of damage to the car because of driving it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Nah, it's fine. Insurance decided we love you, and I said I love you too, so we're good.
What?
It's okay.
What?
This is just a really amazing microphone.
Do you like hearing your voice, or do you like hearing
Well,
my voice?
It's gonna get fixed, so don't worry about it.
true.
I'll fix you. Don't worry.
You fix me.
Oh,
Anyways,
I'll get the scissors.
Moving forward,
We are broken.
and Ryan, so you drive a Mercedes E350,
I got
correct?
a 4-door family sedan. What's funny about that? It's slow.
She's
I know.
laughing at
Okay,
me.
I get
She's laughing at me. Because wait,
He's like, oh, refreshing.
did you give him alcohol?
I haven't sipped it yet. I haven't taken a sip.
Oh,
I was.
Yeah,
You see what I
Ryan
have
and
to
Do
do?
not give him
yeah,
alcohol.
Ryan and
I have
alcohol
to
don't
do
go
it.
hand in hand.
Oh my god.
The excitement comes out.
The
Anyways,
people that are listening right now.
We love you,
live,
Ryan, but you're abstaining.
I'm not allowed to drink before the podcast. Afterwards, it's fine.
Or during.
or during,
Or
yeah.
during,
well, he's
apparently.
not, so it's right
Yeah,
here. So
it's
technically, I
so
can
weird.
drink it.
Go
but
ahead.
Uh,
It's
That's
all
his
good.
drink.
Can you make me one
She made a
straight?
special one.
Can you make me one like straight? Like no,
Just
no,
hand him the Coke bottle then. Do you want the Coke bottle?
that would be fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sir.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so back on topic. So you have a
I have a W211. It could be a 7 or 2009. Nobody would know the difference. So I have a,
I would know the
I have
difference.
a 2009
I can smell the
E350,
difference.
and I have a 1973 MGB
okay.
project / brunch car.
Okay.
I'm getting an appraisal on the bodywork repairs. It's a unibody.
Okay.
So I'm screwed. I can't just buy like a body panel and
Oh, you have to
like
get the whole
PDR,
thing.
Trying to freaking do the
Okay.
whole thing and match the
That's
paint,
that's not
yada yada yada.
Right.
But
But
it's sexy at the same time.
it is sick. It's it's classy. It's a nice.
What
car.
color is it?
It's red.
Yeah, but like, do you know what the color's actually called? By any chance?
Red.
Oh, okay. That's kind of boring. It's not like Gran Turismo.
Well, it's a
or
nice red.
something.
How's it
It's-
boring?
It's a nice
I
red.
mean, like, it doesn't have a fancy name to it, you know?
Why does it? Okay,
I
here's the
am
thing.
just
Why
hearing
do colors
bitch,
have to have?
bitch, and
Why,
Exactly.
exactly. Colors don't need to have a specific
I have
name.
pearl white. I'm just saying.
Pearl white.
Ooh, lottie.
You had the
Uncle
extra
Tom.
tidbit. in
Nah.
there.
Technically, isn't your black like sapphire black?
Obsidian, sapphire,
Obsidian black.
something
See?
like that.
See? It's
Wow,
sexy.
interesting.
Something. It
Okay,
is sexy.
You made it all fancy.
Makes
You
me
brought it
feel
up a
nice.
couple notches.
Yeah.
interesting. So, okay, honest thought though, how do you like driving your E350?
It's perfect for me right now.
Okay,
I'll say that.
Okay.
It doesn't have enough power, so I would wrap myself around a tree because if I had something with more power, that's
Well,
what would happen.
let's just say comfortability. And,
It's beautiful. It's amazing. I love it.
okay,
It suits my needs perfectly. It's the second one I've had. I had a white one.
yeah,
I put some wheels and an exhaust, dual out MagnaFlow on it, so it sounded nice. But I totaled it, and then
I'm
I
sorry
bought
to
a
hear
black
that.
one. I bought a black one, which
Nice.
actually had the sport suspension. The white one had the comfort suspension or whatever,
gotcha.
and this one it made a world of difference.
Mm-hmm.
The interior is pretty saucy. It's like it's a Designo.
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 You know how much those Designo packages go for?
Is it like
Depending on
Uno?
depending on the
Sounds
car, it's like
Sure.
between 1,500 and 3,500.
Nice.
So
Yeah, this is Sahara beige over the black leather.
interesting.
Not the white. Yeah.
it looks like it's probably the shit at
Yeah.
one point in time.
It's still
I mean, it's still
At this
still
point
really
in
good.
time, it is.
It's still really good too. Yeah,
Yeah.
It-
Okay.
It's amazing.
Interesting.
it's
comfy.
reliable. The only bad things that have happened to it have been my fault. So
Well, here's the thing. So I bought my dad a 07 E350 for his birthday, and I drive it every once in a while. But I can tell you this: I am BMW by fate, Mercedes by heart. You know, on my keychain, I actually have
feel
a
that.
Mercedes and a BMW. So
sure.
sometimes I get shit for it, but
Yeah.
I'm like,
Did you hear
it's
that, guys?
whatever.
You've got a keychain with BMW and Mercedes keys.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather have an AMG. Just saying.
Well, AMGs are where it's at. Before I wanted to even buy, so fast forwarding to me. Fast forwarding to me.
It's
So
new.
I
New turn.
have
You're
a
the future now.
So I have a I'm a past living in the future. Yeah. So I have a 2008 BMW M5 with the V10 engine on it, full bolt-on, stage 2. I dynoed it a couple weeks ago, and this is for everybody out there that is, bashing down my car, which I could care less about. But to come up with the straight facts, it pushed 470 horsepower with about 340 torque. So for a car that's about 10 years old and it's got, close to 145,000 miles on it, I think that's fine
It's
for what it's at.
kick-ass.
Yeah, for sure. You've driven it. You've been in it.
Yeah.
So the experience is nice. Summer's been in it too.
Yeah.
So
Fire.
she's had her fair share.
Replace the controller, please.
Yeah,
So it
tomorrow
drives
morning.
Better, please.
Yeah, tomorrow morning I'll do that.
You actually are?
No. Fuck. Yeah. Anyways, but as far as the Mercedes goes, the E350 or the AMG that you were talking about. So before I wanted to even buy the BMW, I was looking for E63s, and the only years that I was looking for was between 07 through 09. But then again, I was like, man, an E55 would have just been just fine because it's got a
way more
supercharger.
reliable.
Yeah, and it's got a supercharger in it, you know. But then the model of the W202s,
W211.
211s, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
from 03 all the way through 2009, like, in my opinion, those were the best made E320s, E350s.
E-Class.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not so
absolutely.
much of E500s or the E550s, but the E63 or the E55 category was nice. But here's the thing, though, like, the price ranges on those, like, it was higher than the BMW M5.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is crazy. You know,
Yeah.
I thought it was the other way around, but then I looked at it. I think I had found one through the auction. It was like a 2008, had 77,000 miles on it, and they wanted like 22, 23 grand for that car.
Well,
And it was silver on silver, which was really nice. But I was looking either for white,
Mhm.
like
Which
white on
looks good.
black.
Which
Yeah,
looks good.
white looks amazing, E63 in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But I didn't want black.
Yep.
It was either going to be white or it was going to be blue. So when I couldn't find it during that time throughout the auction, so I was like, you know what, I'll just wait and see what happens. And I was in PP Islands on vacation, and my buddy calls me up and
The where? The what's?
PP Islands. Yeah, it's in Thailand. It's east of Thailand.
okay. I'm
Or
sorry, I
East of
didn't hear
Phuket.
it one more time. Where was it?
PHI Islands. I guess. Yeah, literally PP Islands. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's be
No,
immature,
you-
guys.
no,
Let's be
you-
immature, guys.
you go there often? You
It was my
don't?
first time. It was first time going, and I hit my buddy up, and I was like, "Hey, I noticed you got this this M5. What's the story on it?" He said, "Yeah, I just got it." And the cool thing about it was just it was a one owner, so that's why I went for it. Majority of the service was done by BMW, so I felt confident, and it was blue, which was the color that I wanted. Had black interior, but not only that, it had the V10 engine in it, and I was like, okay, well, I can't say no to that because I was getting tired of the Mustangs. And I hated Camaros because the blind spots are horrible on it.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And then the Challengers, they were all made out of plastic,
And
so I
folks.
wasn't really a big fan of that.
Slow.
And then the Ford Mustangs, they just
You wanna
sound.
go?
The Ford Mustangs, they just sound loud. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially when you do an exam.
Yeah.
I know so
Yeah.
many loud Mustangs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's you
They
know.
all sound the same.
And the thing is that I also wanted a car that could perform actually to the best of its ability,
Uh-huh.
you know, like to turn,
Mhm.
you know, and I was like, well, American Muscle is not going to help me with that, unfortunately. So that's why I was like, you know, I want to go with the BMWs. And I told myself I don't want a BMW because of the maintenance issues. And yet here I am with a BMW.
And you love it.
And I have the most unreliable BMW
Of all of them.
out of all the
Ever
BMWs. And I went through so much crap with that car, you know. Within the first 8 months of having it, it was in the shop for 5 months because I had to get a new transmission for it.
Mm.
And then it was just a major, major headache. Like, I went through hell, 5 months worth of hell. Okay. And I was like, I just can't do this. Like,
Good
it's not-
question then.
Sure.
If you could go back, would you get the M5 again, or would you get a different car?
That's an interesting question.
Can you read the comments?
Is that knowing or not knowing?
Not knowing. This time knowing everything
Okay,
you'd
go
go through with the car.
outside.
Replace the
Knowing
transmission, everything else.
I would have bought. Okay, I would have not bought.
Someone's waving hi, so secure F80 saying hi.
Hey,
Oh, that's
I
Zane.
appreciate
What's
that
going on,
follow
Zane?
the
Good to
other
see you,
day.
buddy.
Appreciate that follow. Scroll. Is there any vulgar, funny stuff? There you go.
Is there any vulgar funny? We're the vulgar funny
so,
stuff.
everyone's just waving hi, to be honest.
Okay. Good to see you guys.
Let's-
Thanks for joining in. Anyways, so back on topic.
Yes.
I probably would have not bought that M5.
Okay.
I would have bought an E60 M5, but not with 108,000 miles.
And
I
you would
probably-
have got a manual with a red interior, maybe?
manual with a red interior with less than 50,000 miles.
Okay.
I would have paid for that. I think it would have been worth my bread and butter to pay.
To pay for that rather than pay for yours and then replace the transmission and everything?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Well, one, I wouldn't have to deal with the SMG transmission.
That's
period.
fair.
With sequential manual gearbox, and then the SMG unit by itself is $10,000 brand new.
Yeah.
So screw that,
Yeah.
right? So if I had a manual, like I wouldn't have to deal with it. I could have easily just found another manual transmission and just popped it in.
And then you still would have replaced the
rod bearings,
bearings,
I would have
everything.
done that. The throttle bodies, the idle actuators, and the manuals are starting to rise up in terms of not affordability, but in terms of rare.
yeah.
So-
yeah, exactly.
Because the U.S. was the only country that was allowed to have them in manual. Not even Germany has them in manual. There's actually people that are buying them here from the States,
And taking
shipping them
over.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like you would have thought that BMW in Germany does not want to make manuals in Germany. Like,
There's some regulation.
why not?
Which
And I
is
don't
a
even know
lot.
how the United States convinced them to do it and say, no, well, we want the manuals.
Considering we don't even get wagons.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
That's fair.
there's a wagon in Florida,
M5.
It
M5 wagon.
It
yeah.
probably came from like Canada or something though.
It doesn't matter.
I know,
I'm just
it's
wondering.
here, you
I'm
know.
just saying, yeah.
But even if it's in Canada, it's still a Northern American
Yeah,
type
exactly.
of import, right?
Mhm.
But it's not a manual though; it's just a wagon.
Would
Does
you
that make
do mods differently or different mods if you could do it all over again? Again,
sense?
knowing.
Ooh, with a manual
Yeah.
mods? Yeah, I would twin turbo it. Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't supercharge it. I would twin turbo it.
What about your headers? Did you do anything different there?
I would keep that. I would make. Oh man, yeah. So you spoke about headers, so I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Mustafa. Mustafa helped me out to install the headers on my car, and that guy, he went through 16 hours of labor of just taking the old headers off. And what was crazy enough was that it was his first time doing it.
Did you get charged all 16 hours?
What's up?
Did you get charged all 16 hours? Labor? What was the
It
labor?
was an arm and a leg.
It's like that's between
It was an
him
arm
and
and
him.
a leg, and that's between me and him.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like-
But it wasn't. But I'll put it this way: if it was a regular person, like if I've gone to like Cedar Performance or if I've gone to Ultimate Beaver Service,
German car care.
German car care, it'd probably be around the $1,500, $2,000 range,
Yeah.
easily,
Mm.
maybe even higher, depending on what they have to do. So,
Ridiculous.
but besides that, I would rear mount twin turbo built the car. If I had an additional $22,000, I would have done it, just because why not?
Is there a reason you're not doing it to yours right now?
Well, one, because my car has 145,000 miles on it, and you know
Miles,
that engine
miles,
is just
miles don't matter.
miles don't matter. But why do it with a car that's like?
That's fair.
Why do it with a car that's pretty much almost over its age in terms of powertrain? You know, it's already at a 15% loss of powertrain
Yeah.
versus something that's got less than 50,000 miles, and then potentially with how the market is and then the availability of that car down the road, who knows, 3-4 years when people start finding out that, oh crap, these are manuals. There are people still to this day
Mhm.
that if I go to a car show like Cars and Coffee, Cars and Cocktails, Cars and Cantina, Fueled Up, generic car shows around the
Yeah.
Dallas area, there's a lot of people that still are amazed that there's a V10 engine in there. There's a lot of people that don't know about
I mean,
it.
it looks like an old regular family sedan.
It's a sleeper car.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't expect it to
A
be
factory sleeper car.
a factory supercar. You don't expect it to be super loud. You don't expect it to perform the way that it is. And then you're telling me, well, yeah, it's got a V10 in it. And they're like, what?
No, it doesn't. That's
I remember
crazy.
actually, this is actually interesting. Last year, I went to one of Summer's meets.
Mhm.
It was at a barbecue place in Plano.
Barbecue? No, it wasn't a barbecue
Champions
place.
What was it called?
It was,
Exotic underscore club.
It
Follow
was. Is it Frick House?
just
Brick House? It was on
Brick
Wednesdays.
How many people are watching?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
did
was-
on Wednesdays.
It was on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
So it was on Wednesday night, and it was me and it was me. I think it was me, Zeke, and Austin, and we're fixing to leave the show. And I'm driving by this guy, and he comes back and he yells out and saying, "Hey, that's a nice 5 Series." And I think this guy was already drunk or something, and he was sitting down with a group of friends, and I was like, "Did this guy just say I have a nice 5 Series?" And I slammed on the brakes. And I literally put my car in reverse and I'm backing up. And I see him and he's got an old school E Series
Yeah.
or E5 Series, like an E34.
Mhm.
And so he comes back and he's like,
Oh, just
I was like telling him, I was like,
Zero.
yo, what'd you say? He was like, this is a 5
GTR?
Series. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, it's better than mine. I was like, do you know what this car is? He was like, I just know it's a 5 Series. I was like, get up. I make him get up, get in front of my car, and I hit the latch on my hood, and I'm like, pop the hood. I do the whole entire Paul Walker scene on him, right?
That's
He pops the hood, He looks it up, brings it down in front of me and Austin and Zeke. He's like, "Oh shit, that's a V10." So he slams the hood back down, goes back and sits down, and I had a V10 sticker on the back side of my window, and I think Zeke or Austin, one of the two, was like, "Hey, read the back window." And it says V10. He was like, "Oh, it's right there. Duh." Like I should have known those. And the rest was history. Yeah. So that was a funny moment. It was a good time.
Beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. But now that I think about it, that wasn't last year. That was a year before that, I think. Yeah.
For the masks.
Oh, before the mask. The year before the mask. That's right. Anyways,
Yikes.
fast forwarding forward
To the future.
to the future.
Yeah.
I'm still happy with my car.
Okay.
I'll put it this way. With the
Hey,
amount
hey,
of
someone's saying, "Oh, it's Zeke."
Gang.
oh Zeke, what's going on?
Oh, he waves. He says hi.
Anyways,
Uh,
going back to the subject of
technical director right there.
There you go.
I'm
so
like just saying.
we've already spoken. We've already talked about our cars.
Mhm.
We've already talked about what we've done with them, right?
Mhm.
So
Kind of, yeah.
the next question is, what got us into cars? So what got you into cars, Cameron?
Me? Oh, shit.
How many people are on right now?
Let me finish
That's what
that
I'm
real quick.
saying. Wouldn't it tell if it was anything more
Does it
than
tell you on there? You have to like click it or
no,
something?
It says 2 or 3 right now.
No, it
2
doesn't
or
matter.
3?
2, 3 real ones out there? Shout out to you guys.
That's a 2.
Oh, it's
Now it says
Chris.
3.
Hey,
What's
Chris.
up, Chris?
Dang.
Anyways, what you said. What did you say? I'm sorry.
What
Why
got
do
you
you
into
like
cars?
cars?
What got me into cars? I'm gonna be honest. That's a good question.
Like, was it movies? Was it car movies that got you into cars?
So when I was younger, I watched the Fast and Furious movies, but I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of just that's when I started looking at cars and was like, yep, that's kind of obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
It was mainly the JDM cars. I'm gonna be honest. Not like nothing against them, no disrespect, but a lot of the builds
Uh-huh.
in there that inspired things to happen the way they did. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna stay away from all Japanese cars
Mm-hmm.
and probably never own one.
Okay.
Except a GTR. I'd probably own a GTR.
Mhm.
But at one point, I just kind of decided, because I owned a V6 Challenger first. That was my first car. Just because I love the old school kind of like muscle car look and feel of it. And I loved that car, but I didn't love it like as a car. I just kind of loved it because I had it and it looked cool.
Gotcha.
And then
Were you like in high school when you had it? Or?
yeah, I got it in high school.
Okay.
And
So it was your first high school car?
it was my first car. Period.
No way.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
it's also the car I learned to drive in because I said, "Mom, I want this." She said, "All right, I got you. Give me some money." And I was like, "Okay, here's everything that I have saved." And she went and got this car for me. And then we parked it in the driveway and waited till I had my permit. And then I got my permit and started learning to drive in that car. So it was the first car I ever drove in.
Okay.
And then 4 years later, and about 45,000 miles later,
Uh-huh.
so the car is at 70,000 miles, I went and took it down to Carvana one day and was like, "Hey, you've got a red BMW like right at the top of that tower, and it's for sale still on your website. Can I have it?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
What BMW was it, though?
It was a F22, a 2016 228i.
Okay.
Yeah. I
All right.
really wanted the 4 Series next to it, but at the time my mom convinced me to go for fuel efficiency.
Okay.
Should have listened to her, to be honest.
Right.
Because I really wanted that 4 Series, but yeah, so I went and got that red F22, and that was when I started loving cars, which is just the
Okay.
feel and the way that car drove in
Gotcha.
general. I just loved driving that thing around, and I'd throw it sideways all the time. I screwed that car up.
So that was your first car.
That was my first car, yeah.
Car.
Yeah,
Okay.
that I just got and I loved. And because of that,
Uh-huh.
I wanted something with more power.
Okay.
Even though I loved the way the car drove, I just wanted power, and I didn't want to throw power at that little 4-cylinder.
Uh-huh.
Because it's a
Obviously,
BMW,
for
yeah.
obvious reasons.
And I kind of blew the turbo twice.
Ouch.
Under warranty.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You and
Yep.
destroying.
Yes, I
warranty.
destroyed BMWs. Only BMWs, by the way.
I wonder why.
I went and sold that, back to Carvana and bought a Challenger 392. I wide-bodied it, and I was actually going to go throw a bunch of power at it, and decided I didn't like the way it handled on the road. But yeah, I mean, like that car is what led me into going into the car world and talking with car people and stuff. Was owning that muscle car, and I love the fuck out of that car. I love the way it sounds, love the way it drove.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it pretty much. Like, so BMW led me there. My Challenger brought me to it, and then here I am today. The rest is history.
Interesting.
Simple as that.
Ryan, what about you?
Oh, jeez. My affinity for excuse me. My affinity for cars has pretty much just been there since I was a child.
Your Infinity for cars?
Affinity, not my Infinity. I would never have an Infinity.
Oh.
That's
So,
a Nissan,
like-
by the way.
I know. So, like, growing up, I was always fortunate enough to go find my grandparents live in the central coast of California, otherwise known as Carmel.
And you're from California.
Yeah, I'm originally from Beverly Hills.
Nice. Welcome to Texas.
Decent car scene. Ugh, thanks.
Did you say decent car scene?
Decent car scene over there.
California or
In
here?
LA.
He's like, yeah. Why do I find? Okay, here's the thing. Why do I find that so hard to believe? I feel like the California car scene is
It
10
is.
times better than
It is.
Texas.
I was just bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was trying to sound sarcastic.
I
but
just wanted
sarcastic.
to-
Shame.
I just wanted to double check.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were Rolls Royce everywhere. I hated it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like here in Dallas, like you go to Cars and Cantina, you go to Cars and Coffee South Lake. Like, there's only two guys. I got a Bugatti Chiron, right?
Yeah.
So it's Shree, and then it's Tim Gillian.
Yeah.
And you probably go to California, you probably see like 10 of those lined up.
Seen
Or,
Footwork.
yeah.
Well, like you'd see a street. So in like Carmel during Car Week, which is when they have the Concours d'Elegance, in Pebble Beach, it's on the they put all the cars on the 18th hole.
Mhm.
Like I have, some of my earliest memories of like, I had Challenger cars. Was like a Carrera GT, was an SLR McLaren.
Right.
I love those
And
cars.
the first time I ever went to that show, I got to sit in the pre-production Tesla Roadster,
Mhm.
and that was pretty wild. The only thing I remember from that was that it was electric, and I was
Okay.
like, all right, that's dope. But I was we sized, and they were like, get in. So all right, bet.
Okay.
We went back a couple years later. I think it was 2013, and the salesman let me sit in a yellow LFA. He let me floor it, and it was in park. It was up on a little stand, and I had a little suit. Had a little suit
Go
on.
back.
I was 13.
You got to drive an elephant.
I got to floor it, and it was parked. But he
You
was
mean by floor? You mean rev it?
Rev.
Okay.
Redline.
We thought by
Yeah.
floor like you got in the car and you
No,
floored
Yeah,
it.
I was like, God.
I think
Floor it!
They
I was like, who gave that permission?
They had it in-
Sorry about
you're
that.
good.
Wow,
good.
you done muted us.
They had
It's all good.
an embargo on 13-year-olds driving those cars.
Really? Really? Since when?
Um,
What year did they start the embargo, by the way?
Hmm?
Was it like the 29th Amendment?
What?
That was a joke.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god.
He got
Wait a
it.
minute. So the LFA, I remember when the LFA came to the Dallas Auto Show.
Hmm.
I think it was back in 06, 07 when they first came out with the concept edition, but it was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my gosh, was it 06?
gonna
Maybe
be
it was 08.
super valuable for us.
Actually, no, I take that back. I think it was 2012,
Hmm.
not 2006. No,
Hmm.
there's no way.
Something in
It
there.
had to be
Still have never
2012.
seen one in person.
Really?
You've never seen an LFA
I've never
in
seen
person?
an LFA in person.
Go-
Really?
go
I
to-
And
have.
I used to work at Lexus.
I have.
Doesn't that
go
feel
up to
weird?
Tactical Fleet right now. Take a look at it.
Tactile right now has an LFA.
They got a white one, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Go buy it.
But that one's got the V10 and it's a naturally aspirated, right?
Then I'll do.
It's the
No manuals, all V10s.
It was the first
No
time.
cup holders, if I remember correctly, from Top Gear.
Yeah,
Shut
no
up.
cup holders
Yeah,
either.
On the
German-
LFA?
Yeah, Jeremy taped the
But-
coffee cup to the steering wheel.
Yeah. The interior is the inspiration for all the new generation of Lexus, like all of their
Interesting.
sedans and mainly like their sportier
I
cars.
even remember
the same
what
interior.
McLaren at one point, their cup holders were underneath the middle console,
It is.
right?
12Cs and stuff. Yeah, it's you have to reach down and around. It's actually a pain in the ass to reach your hand down there.
No way.
Pain in the
Okay.
ass, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And then they've also got like a little like little tray area to set stuff in right down there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like Why is all of my shifters right here, or all of my gears right here, and then everything underneath it? I don't get it.
No worries.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, what was your first car?
To be honest, my first car was a 1990 Ford Mustang Fox body.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Coupe. I bought it for $1,000 off of Craigslist.
Are you serious?
You should have kept it.
There was no, bro.
It was a 5.0,
It was the 302. So I don't know if
Okay.
it was a 50, but
Yeah. but it was a V8.
Ooh, yeah, it was
302.
manual. But the guy whoever had it before me just like only raced it, so it would just go into first and second, third, etc. This is shit for brains. And oh my god, there was it had larger injectors on it, like 32,
Okay.
35 cc,
Okay.
whatever. BBK, high flow throttle body, long tube headers, and the headers were it. There was no, maybe there were turn downs on them. It was
Loud.
loud.
So
And
you
like
would
I
wake
said,
your neighbors up.
I had it, my poor neighbors. I had it for like
My poor neighbors. I'm so sorry. If you're
2
watching
weeks.
right now,
I
I'm so
couldn't.
sorry.
I don't even think I had a driver's license at the time. We bought it
Really?
outside of Austin and drove back up.
Someone
and,
says, "Hey, what's up?"
"Hi, how are you?"
Hey, what's going on?
Hey,
Pleased
what's
to be acquainted. And then I blew a head gasket on the freeway, and then that was the last I ever saw that car. So one of these days, I'd love to have another. Her name was Olivia. I don't really name my cars, but that car was Olivia.
Olivia? Why Olivia, though?
She was loud.
Don't ask her.
What did Olivia do to you? What did she do for you, actually?
Well, maybe he doesn't want to answer this, so
Just
let him
kidding.
be. Give him a
Listen,
break.
I got played Truth or Dare, and one of them was like,
You're getting
"Go
red.
ask Olivia if she'll kiss you." And it was like 8th grade in the lunchroom.
Oh my god.
One of those.
I did it.
What
She
a
was also
story.
pretty hot. Anyways,
Okay.
Yeah, your fox body was a pretty foxy body, wasn't she?
she was like Colombian or something. That's beside the point. I
Okay.
digress.
All
Back
right.
to Ford
Colombian
Mustangs.
5
Yeah, back to
all
Ford
right.
Mustangs.
Back to Ford Mustangs. Yeah, blew a head gasket on that. Didn't have a car for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Got the white E350.
Mm-hmm.
Got the black E350.
Mhm.
Was gifted that MG. And then
That's right.
whenever I fix the MG up completely and, pretty much restore it,
Right.
liquidate that, use it as a down payment on something.
Well, we'll see what you're gonna get then.
We'll see what I'm going to
Yeah.
get then.
My first car was a 2002 Ford F-150, and it had a
That was
V6.
So ugly.
It was a V6. So this was back in 2008 when the recession happened.
Oh.
Yeah, and remember gas prices was at like $4 a gallon or something like that,
Yep.
something nuts. And we were at CarMax, and I was with my dad, and they had a 2002 F-150 with I think 40,000 miles on it.
And what year was 8? This was in 2008?
This was in 2008.
Okay.
And then we had that right next to it. They had a 2008 Ford F-150 with 20,000 miles on it.
Okay.
So it was a brand new F-150. But here's the thing: that one had the V8, and it was a basic V8, meaning it had hand roll down windows. It didn't have the RPM showing. It was just a speedometer. Like, it was a work truck, pretty much.
It was
Right.
painful.
It was painful in that, and I was like looking up online.
It's
And I
like
was like,
driving.
man, to get this part, because you know how like some of them they have those black plastic parts, and you
Yeah.
want to replace it with like
And they're-
chrome to make it look.
so easy to replace. Yeah.
They're so easy to replace, but they were so expensive because they were brand new, right?
It's like driving an M4 with no options.
Pretty much.
Well,
Yeah. Yes.
motherfucker.
Yes.
Motherfucker.
Yes. But to get back on topic, I was like, dude, I want to get a V8 right now, and I was like, I got to drive it to school every day, and I lived in Coppell during the time, so I remember I was like thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to waste so much money on gas, and then what was really influencing me to stay away from that F-150 is that one of my classmates from high school, he had a two-door of that F-150
With
that
a
was an
V6.
08 with a V8.
Oh.
And he had put Flowmasters on it, and his truck sounded amazing. I think back in high school, trucks to us was like
Especially loud.
thing.
Was
It
it
was-
lowered? Was he
no,
Hispanic?
no.
Bruh.
This was straight up
No,
Truck-
way.
truck with the Flowmasters, and his truck sounded amazing. I loved his truck.
Yeah.
But then I was like, dude, I don't want to pay that much gas on a V8. And my dad got mad at me. My dad was super infuriated with me. He was like, because the difference, I think, in payments was like 10 or 15 bucks.
Yeah.
But then here's the thing, the O2, it was black. I liked it. It was a color that I wanted.
Mhm.
It had power windows. It had
Options.
it had everything that I wanted, right? And I bought it, and I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I want the V6. Just give me the V6. I'll be happy with the V6. I don't want the V8. Gas prices are up, and I don't want to do that. And then finally, after about 4 years later, my dad finally got convinced that I made the right decision 4 years prior to that, because in 2012, gas prices were going up again. And I remember I was a sophomore in college, and we lived in McKinney at that time. And I remember I had to drive from McKinney all the way to Denton.
Oh my God.
5 days straight.
Fuck no, baby.
5 days straight with a truck, right? Going back and forth, back and forth. I'm like, I'm spending, I think every month I was spending between $300 to $400 on gas.
I do that.
Okay, just on gas, right? Going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I told my dad, I was like, Dad, let's just save the gas money and let's just go get another car, right? Now, mind you, with this F-150, I had decked it out. I had the Pioneer surround sound system in it. I had halogen or halo headlights. I had the custom black and red taillights in the back. And I had put Flowmasters on it.
On a V6?
On a V6, which sounded good for what it was.
I'm sure it sounded all right.
For what it was, it sounded good, and I bought like side skirts for it. Like I loved my truck.
That's fair.
You know. So, anyways, that was my first car. So, and what got me into cars? I loved cars since I was like 4 or 5. I remember. My uncle and my dad, every once in a while, they would go to Walmart or they would go to Target. They would go to the Hot Wheels section and just give me all these Hot Wheels cars. And when I lived in Iran, so I lived in Iran for 5 years, and I remember I had so many cars. My mom had to get custom built shelves for my room. Like, it was probably from there to here, and they were all filled up with cars, from the smaller ones to the bigger ones. And
what was your favorite?
Cars?
The favorite model? Yeah, that you
Model? It had to be the Aston Martin Vanquish from James Bond, from Die Another Day, because I wanted that one. I seriously wanted that one because, one, you could flick it around, and when I knew it existed, do you know how I found out how it existed? So we were in the mall. This is in Iran. We were in the mall, and I'm walking around, and I see this watch store, right? This jewelry store, but primarily known for watches. And one of them was Omega. And in the James Bond movie, they had the Omega watch. So not only did they have the Omega watch, but they had the model car, the Aston Martin there. Yep. So I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I want
the
this
watch.
one.
Let me get the car.
Yeah, I didn't care about the watch. I just wanted the car. I didn't know it existed. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, my dad bought it, and he brought it that following Iranian New Year. And sure enough, you talk at the switch where the grill is. All the missiles show up. The machine guns out of the hood grills show up, and then obviously the chair pops up, so the hood pops up. And I was so upset. And then God bless his soul, I had a cat back then.
Oh no! It's always cats.
And I would leave my car on the top of the TV. So like my cars, like I would just like move them around every once in a while
and enjoyed them.
And enjoyed them.
Drive them. Get them out of the garage.
When you're a kid, like when you look at cars, you can sit there and sit and stare at them all day.
Yeah.
And then you can have car posters on your wall or something like that. Like that's what we did when we were kids. So one night I was sleeping, and sure enough, and I hear click click, pong, and I was like, oh my God, what car is it? And sure enough, it's the Aston out of all cars, and the whole entire front bumper
this little fucker
off. It just came off. It broke into pieces, and I was
pranced away.
I mean, Astons fall apart like that, so.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it. But going back on topic, pretty much Die Another Day it's what really got me into cars. Like I was like, wow, this is awesome. So if somebody told me what is your dream car or what car would you want to drive right now, it'd be the 2005 Aston Martin Vanquish, without a doubt. Period.
The
manual,
12.
hopefully, right?
Manual, automatic, it doesn't matter at this point. But
I know.
In your case, I wish it was a manual, but I don't think they made them in manuals for the 05s.
I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that.
You don't?
Pull that shit
I
up.
have no idea what the
Cameron?
answer to that is. Yeah, I'll
Type
pull it up.
in a 2005 Aston Martin Vanquish manual, see if they came with any. I don't think they did.
Yeah,
Anyways, so, and then obviously moving forward with all that was all the Fast and Furious movies. You know, I watched all that and I got involved, and ever since
How
then-
many movies are there?
Too many.
Right now, I think it's a
Too
total of
many.
8.
A
I think it's a
total
total
of
of
eight?
8.
Duration is like what, 2 hours per, give or take, per
Yeah,
movie?
probably. Yeah.
So I don't know if they originally made them in manual.
I don't
but
think they did. I
there's
think the
one-
only ones.
there's one for sale in the manual. The S's though. It is the Vantage S.
Right, the Vantages are the only ones that they come
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the manuals, not the Vanquishes. Yeah,
Oh, sorry, no. Vanquish. Yeah, the Vanquish S. My bad. Yeah,
it is.
Ease of Vanquish.
It's
Vanquish.
a Vanquish.
and
Okay.
it says manual here, so I assume it popped up on the.
Well, have you zoomed in to see if it is? I want to see this. Sorry about
This
this.
is
guys.
looking terrible on the cameras.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it
know.
is. I'll be damned.
Wow.
It is a manual.
You'll be damned.
Wow.
That's right-hand
okay.
drive as well.
Yeah,
Well,
which would be
where's
fun.
that?
That's probably the only way they came in manual. That's probably why you think they didn't.
Mm.
It's because they probably have to be from Europe.
Probably. Anyways, but yeah, that's what pretty much got me into cars, and here we are today. Fast forward.
The rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history. I even owned a car dealership with my dad for about 3 years, which was nice. Drove a lot of cars, owned a lot of cars during that time period. I had a Ford Mustang. I actually had a 2009 Ford Mustang. I actually had 4 Mustangs at one point.
Ford Mustang.
Ford Mustangs.
4 of them.
4 of them.
4 Ford
All
Mustangs.
All GTs.
Nice.
One of them was a GT California Special. So all of them had the V8, obviously, but they
Okay.
were all the 4.6 liters.
Yeah. Which,
And
yeah.
so here's the thing. When I first, and that was, running a dealership, that was
That's fair.
part of it, yeah, right? You could drive. Like, I even had a Jaguar XJR, 2005 British green on tan,
Wow.
yeah,
Those
with
are
the
amazing.
supercharger in it.
Those are
Yeah,
amazing.
that car
Those
was fun.
are
That car sounded
awesome.
amazing.
Oh, I love those cars.
I hated the electrical problems on it, though. That was the only thing.
So
I was an
everybody
05.
does.
It was an 05. It was green on British tan. And this car from the inside was immaculate. Like, no tears, no scratches. It was just every once in a while you would drive it, and then the fucking headlights would just go off on you.
Something. My
Randomly,
dad had
and
an
I hated that.
XJ6.
British
Say again?
engineering.
My dad had an XJ6. We test drove an XJR 100.
Yeah. Yeah, XJRs. I mean, when you
They're
rev in and
sexy.
you hear that supercharger, I mean, it was
It's just a
fun.
mob car.
It's a whole
It's a mob
different
car.
one.
It's a long car. But
Yeah.
you know what was so awesome about that car when I drove it? Was the adaptive cruise control. I didn't know it had it. I didn't know it had it for, it was a 08
Wow.
maybe? I think it was an 08 or 05.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm driving. I'm like, why is my car slowing down? Like, I started freaking out. I was like, what's my-
Already? Like,
And then sure enough, I'm like, car moved and my car's now speeding up. And I was like, well, let me get behind it real quick and see what's going on. And sure enough, I was like, oh my God, it's got adaptive cruise control.
Nice.
And then I would take it to Cars and Coffee, Plano back in the day when they would host it there. And sure enough, I would get just like these old guys, with the long beard and like the hunt hat.
Magnus Walkers.
Yeah, and they
Mhm.
just walk up and they look at the car and then they're like, "Can I get in?" And you're like, "Yeah, absolutely, get in." And so he would get in, and the rest was history. Yeah, just loved it. Yeah.
They had those cup holders, I think, that came out from the
Mhm.
front. And they,
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing: out of those XJRs, what was it? The XJ8? No, not the Vanden Plus. What's the higher ranking of the Vanden Plus?
Ultimate, Premium, Platinum.
I don't know. So there's something which
Signature?
this is
I don't know.
no. So this is like the limited edition of the XJRs
R?
or
The XJR 100.
XJ platforms.
Or-
This is the one where in the seat the trays come down. You have a cup holder. You have a champagne holder in the middle. Yeah.
I don't know the terminology.
I can't remember if it was a Vanden Plus or an XJ8. One of the two. See if it comes up.
Oh.
Actually, don't worry about that.
Okay.
It's not a concern right
Okay.
now. I'm not worried.
I don't know anything about Jaguars, so I was like,
Don't worry about it.
I was like,
But
Jaguar.
as far as maintenance goes, I didn't have any maintenance issues with that one.
Just electrical problems.
Electrical problems.
British
yeah.
engineering.
British.
Yeah.
Now back to the Mustangs. So apparently, I didn't know I had unique Mustangs that were in my possessions during that time, and I just liked them because they were loud.
Yeah.
Typical guy, right?
Seems to be the appeal
But
to most people.
There's a guy up in Indianapolis, and this is for everybody that likes Mustangs. I'm telling you right now.
Listen up, queers.
There's a guy.
Whoa.
There's. Don't say
Bring it
that.
down.
That's
You
weird.
you drive an E-Class.
Totally inappropriate.
The V6.
It's not supposed to happen.
Stop. So, anyways, all jokes aside. So, there's a gentleman named Tim Porter, and he lives in Indianapolis, and he's actually British, and he is known to build all-wheel drive 1,100 brake horsepower Mustangs.
Yeah.
And what he would do, he found my Mustangs, all 4 of them. He bought all 4 of them from me.
Oh my God.
And he was like, yeah, what I do. So he gets them, rebuilds them from scratch.
Sure.
Takes everything off, rebuilds the engine, rebuilds the transmission.
Frame off restoration.
Frame off. Like, he does everything. And I'm like, is it really worth it? He was like, yeah.
Bro.
This is because I send it back to the UK and I make $40,000, $50,000 profit on top of what I just did with it.
Wow.
And that's the thing. When you're sending a car to overseas, like especially like England, I'm pretty sure like their government regulations and how safety or emissions have to be on the car, like they have to be above and beyond.
They're way. Yeah.
So this guy was like, I have no other choice. So, and the last Mustang that I had was a Ford Mustang GT California Special.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to take that car because I have a wrecked Shelby GT 500 over here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put the 5.4 liter Shelby GT from the wrecked one to your cars and put the front Shelby bumper in front of it because the GT California Special was pretty much a Shelby body kit.
What color was that CS?
Blue.
Nice.
So he bought that car, and I still have pictures of it. And so if anybody ever wants to see it, they're more than welcome to do that. But
Oh yeah.
anyways,
Um.
that was
Yeah.
that's pretty much it
history.
as far as the Mustangs go. Yeah.
Tomorrow's gonna be a loaded day.
Yeah,
Loaded
tomorrow's
day.
gonna be fun.
So-
I'm tired.
What's our first waypoint?
We'll find out tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Don't spoil it.
with that being said, this was awesome. I'm
Love
really
ya.
glad you guys were here. And so, guys, we're going to be doing one every week. And I know some of y'all have requested to come out and do these interviews with us. We would love to have y'all.
But we have way too many people applying, so we're gonna have to get choosy. So
yeah, so not only that, it's just
So
a joke. So if anybody's interested, just shoot us a text or reach out to Cameron, me, Ryan. We'll be happy to discuss more and have you guys here. So
happy Friday.
with that being said,
Happy Saturday.
You're not
Happy
even drunk
Saturday.
yet.
I'm not.
You're not even drunk yet.
with that being said, this is
No.
great. You guys stay safe. Take care.
Hashtag just drive.
Deuces.
This is Steven. Stay farm signing off.